U.S. President Donald Trump issues an ultimatum to Putin, progress in negotiations in March, signing of an agreement with Kyiv in June. This is according to the Ukrainian president, who says that Moscow could face severe U.S. sanctions for failing to meet the deadlines. Can we really expect the war to end in the coming months? Polish fighter jets scramble into the air. NATO allies on standby. This is a response to another Russian provocation, when Russian aircraft appeared dangerously close to Polish airspace early this morning. The activated ground-based air defense and radar reconnaissance systems have returned to standard operational activity. We would like to inform you that no violation of Polish airspace has been observed. And all this happened shortly after another massive night attack by criminal Russia on Ukraine. The targets were heating plants, gas plants, critical infrastructure, and civilian settlements. Many families in Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities were left without heat and water. Among them was the family of Yulia Davidenko, a mother of 3 small children, who has to cope without heating at minus 20 degrees Celsius. The children have heating at school, and there is also water there, so they stay there as long as possible, and then we heat ourselves here as best as we can. Somehow we manage. Putin's forces have also targeted industrial facilities, including a candy warehouse belonging to the former president of Ukraine and an animal shelter in Zaporizhia. Russian attacks continue, and in their shadow, peace talks led by the Americans are underway. The Americans had other intentions, namely to conclude a quick, effective, and efficient peace treaty in the Russian-Ukrainian war. Here, the Kremlin's intentions and Donald Trump's expectations completely diverged. However, there is a certain factor that could force Russia to agree to a ceasefire, or even a peace treaty. This is something we do not know, namely the state of the Russian economy. If it is indeed in agony, then this is a factor that could force Russia to agree to a ceasefire. And that is exactly what Washington wants to take advantage of. Donald Trump has given Putin an ultimatum. According to the Ukrainian president, a breakthrough in negotiations is expected in March, and a peace agreement could be concluded in June. Every day counts. We would like to make decisions as quickly as possible. At the moment, the situation in Ukraine is very difficult, especially in the energy sector. Donald Trump's peace plan is the only hope. Iran is also in the crosshairs, and the Americans are very active there, so that's part of the whole puzzle. If Trump manages to solve some of those problems to a large extent, it will probably be easier to solve this problem as well. The American administration is operating on 2 important fronts, in 2 volatile regions at the same time, because in addition to talks with Moscow and Kyiv, it is also negotiating with Iran. Pressure on the Ayatollah regime and the specter of American intervention in this dictatorial country are beginning to bear fruit.
Iran looks like they want to make a deal very badly, as they should. Last time they decided maybe not to do it, but I think they probably feel differently. We'll see what the deal is. It'll be different than last time.
At stake is the end of the bloody regime of the Ayatollahs, who brutally suppressed protests by ordinary people, and the cessation of work on Iran's nuclear program. That is why Donald Trump has announced the introduction of 25% tariffs on countries that trade with Tehran. The main adversary of the United States today is China. Their allies, or rather vassals, are Russia and Iran. And part of Trump's strategy seems to be an attempt to convince both Russia and Iran to abandon their close cooperation or alliance with China. However, it is unclear whether the plan will succeed. Both Iran, ruled by the Ayatollahs, and Putin's Russia are criminal regimes, and the goal of the U.S. administration is peace in both the Middle East and Eastern Europe.